Dixon here, functional medicine consultant with Amy Beard, MD, and I am going to walk you through how to complete your protocol and elimination diet. So let's talk about the protocol first, and specifically phase 1, the gut rehab phase. So this is going to be days 1 through 20. And we'll talk about your detox phase in a later video. So in the morning of days 1 through 20, you're going to get up, and about 15 minutes before you eat your meal or shake, you're going to take a digestive enzyme capsule. We do recommend that you try and take your digestive enzymes about 15 minutes before your meals. If you forget, it's okay to take them with your meal, but we really do find that they are most effective if you can remember to take them in the 15-minute beforehand time frame. And then for your breakfast meal, you're going to go ahead and have 1 foundation shake for breakfast. Most people prefer to drink this for breakfast, but you can have it at another time just as a meal replacement. So what you'll do for this shake is you're going to mix 3 level scoops of foundation shake powder with about 8 to 10 fluid ounces of your preferred liquids, and then you can throw in whatever other add-ins you'd like. You may not love the greens flavor at first. It is a little strong. So you can add lemon to your shake. That tends to help. You can also reduce by a scoop and work your way up to get in the full amount of 3 scoops once you get a little bit more accustomed to the flavor. Just remember, this is not just a protein powder. This is really a gut health superfood. Dr. Beard and her husband Paul spent a lot of time designing this shake to really be a powerful instrument for your gut. So hang in there, even if you don't like it quite at first. There are lots of ways that you can make it. It's not flavored, so you want to add in whatever you like to give it the flavor that you want. We have on the Facebook group a whole page of Dr. Beard's favorite ways to make this shake. And then from there, you can also just jot your own down and share with each other. And we find that it may take a day or two, but you will find a recipe that works for you and gives you the taste that you like. So after or with your shake, you're going to take 3 capsules of your multivitamin. And ideally, you do want to take this with a meal because it'll help prevent nausea. You don't want to necessarily take it on an empty stomach, but also it helps with better absorption. And then you're also going to take 1 capsule of Biome Balance. And this is also good to take with a meal. If you don't, you may experience, or even the first few days, even if you do take it with a meal, you may experience some burping and kind of an oregano taste. And that's because there's oregano oil in the Biome Balance. But that should lessen over time. And then for lunch, the only thing you're going to be doing is just remembering to take that digestive enzyme about 15 minutes before your meal. In the evening, 15 minutes before your meal, you're going to take 1 digestive enzyme capsule. And then with dinner, you're going to take 3 capsules of your multivitamin. So you'll be taking 6 multivitamin capsules total. And it is ideal to split them up if you can remember to do that, as it does help prevent improve absorption. At bedtime, you'll take 1 to 2 capsules of the omega-3 supplement. And the 1 to 2 is flexible. It's really just based on kind of your MSQ score. If you're kind of on the higher end or you're experiencing a lot of inflammation, omega-3s are really powerful for helping decrease inflammation. So you can go up to the 2. It's safe for you to take 1 to 2 just fine. So you can kind of use your discretion there. If you're not eating a lot of fish, then you may want to err on the higher end. If you are eating a lot of fish, you can err on the lower end. And then you'll also take 1 probiotic capsule right before going to sleep. And we find that these are best taken at bedtime, but just a note on timing, pretty much everything in your protocol can go at a different time of day. If there's something that works better in your schedule, or you just have an off day where things get mixed around, that's okay. The only thing that you do need to remember is you should not take the Biome Balance, that capsule you take in the morning, with the probiotic. Those 2 things can interact because the Biome Balance is helping to kill off some of the bad bacteria and yeast, and the probiotic obviously is trying to seed your gut with good bacteria. So you don't want to take those together. We also have daily checklists to keep you on track. So make sure you print out these and have them handy. They're going to walk you through your protocol each day, and they'll change when you get to the next phase. So these are really helpful tools. And once you get in the rhythm, this will help keep you just on track and making sure you're getting what you need day to day. So let's talk about the elimination diet. This is going to be for your first 30 days, the whole way through the first 30 days, and then you'll start reintroducing. So we use the Institute of Functional Medicine's elimination diet for our elimination diet program. And the reason is it is so well developed and highly researched. And so these are all of the features of this plan. It's going to support a healthy microbiome, and it's going to be dairy-free and gluten-free, along with free of some other things as well. But those are really two of the top food sensitivities that we see, especially in our practice. It's going to emphasize phytonutrients to heal your gut. And if you're not familiar with that term, when you eat, especially fruits and vegetables, you're getting lots of vitamins and minerals. You're also getting something called a phytonutrient. And these little nutrients are very small. You really only take in about 1 to 2 teaspoons total of them a day through food. But they are powerful instruments when it comes to healing. This diet's also going to help reduce your toxic burden because we really are eating very, very clean. There's no calorie restriction on this diet. So if weight loss is your goal and you're really antsy, or maybe you've dieted before and it's been all about calories, we want you to throw that out the window for now. We are really focusing on healing your gut and decreasing inflammation. And we don't need to restrict calories to do that. So don't worry about your calories. Don't count calories. Don't count macros. It's really not necessary for this program. If at the end of this program, you've worked on your gut health and you've still got some weight that you want to lose, then we can talk about what a good strategy would be for weight loss. But for this plan, don't worry about calorie restriction. We want you to feel like you're eating enough and that you're full and satisfied at the end of your meals. This program is also going to help increase your body awareness to food. So you're going to be able to identify what makes you feel good and what maybe doesn't make you feel good by the end. It's also going to help you identify food triggers. And we're going to talk about this more when we talk about reintroduction. It's going to help you understand the different types of adverse food reactions and which food sensitivities or intolerances or allergies you may or may not have. And then the big one, obviously, this diet's going to help reduce inflammation, which is probably what you want if you're here. So this is an incredible plan, and I'm really excited for you guys to just have something that's so well put together. So this is page 10 of your comprehensive guide. And if you like the research, if you want to know every nitty-gritty thing about this diet, I would say dive into that protocol guide. At the very least, you should skim over it and see if there's any things that jump out to you as being really helpful. This table is super helpful. It's the quick foods to avoid and the foods to eat. So foods to avoid, we're not going to have alcohol, beef, chocolate, coffee, soft drinks, or tea, with an exception, you can't have green tea. Not going to have corn, dairy products, eggs, gluten-containing grains, peanuts, pork, processed meats, shellfish, soy and soy products, and then sugar in all of its forms. The foods you can eat are going to be dairy alternatives, fish, fruits, game meats, gluten-free whole grains, healthy oils, legumes, nuts, poultry, seeds, and vegetables. And we really want you to read your food labels carefully. If you're going to eat something that comes in a package with a label or a bottle with a label, please, please, please read that label, because you'd be surprised. Sugar, eggs, milk, soybeans, and wheat or gluten, they sneak into a lot of things. This document will be in the Facebook group, but it's a really helpful tool to see that there's oftentimes hidden foods in the everyday products that we buy. So make sure that if it has a label, you read the label. And if you want to play it safe, buy foods that don't have a label. So fresh fruits and vegetables and meat, those are always going to be safe. This is so important. Do it once, do it right. You're going to see this over and over again from us. It is so important on this elimination diet that you do not cheat, which is also why it's important that you pick a good time to do this diet. You don't want to do it at a time where you're going to be tempted with a lot of celebrations or travel or whatever that could throw you off. Food sensitivities can impact your immune system and GI health for several weeks to several months. And so it's just not worth it. You can do it. You can do it for 30 days, and then we'll start reintroducing foods back in. And really, the end goal is for you to have the broadest diet that you can, because you'll get the most variety of nutrients. So we are definitely for a broad diet at the end of the day. We don't want you to be on a restrictive diet forever, but we really see in research that you will benefit from removing all of those foods and then strategically adding them back in. And if you cheat, you're just going to set yourself back. So don't cheat. Here is the Elimination Diet Food Plan. This is going to be a very helpful 2-page document for you. It's basically all the foods you can have while you're on this diet. So the front page is going to talk about your proteins, your fish, your meat, your poultry, plant proteins you can have. It's going to have your legumes that you can have, your dairy alternatives, nuts and seeds, fats and oils. So I'm just breezing over this, but I really recommend you spend some time familiarizing yourself with all of the foods that are on here. You'll also notice that on this document, there's a key, and there's high histamine foods, nightshades, and fermented foods. I'm going to start with fermented foods. Unless you feel like they exacerbate your symptoms, and you'll know, if they don't make you feel bad, then we do recommend trying to get in those fermented foods on a regular basis, even daily. Most cultures do eat fermented foods very regularly, if not daily, and it's so good for your gut health. So I know you're taking a probiotic, but it's really great too to get in the habit of having at least one fermented food per day. And then histamines and nightshades we'll talk about at the end. Those may be foods that you want to consider reducing or completely eliminating, depending on what you're dealing with right now. The backside is going to show you all your vegetables, your non-starchy vegetables. I would spend a lot of time here. The more non-starchy vegetables you can get on your plate, the better. And then you have your starchy vegetables listed there, your fruits, your gluten-free grains that you can have, and then your beverages. And you can see there that green tea is okay in terms of tea. And then you've got some condiments and other things that you can have there as well. So if you don't see something on here that you want, you can check the comprehensive guide, and it may talk about whether or not you can have that food. But if you're in the store and you're just not sure, it's really probably better to just err on the side of don't have it. It can be really tempting to go out and find like the perfect compliant potato chip or something like that. But this is not the time to find those. This is the time to eat really clean and to eat very simply. And then down the line, if you decide you're trying to avoid certain foods and you need a certain type of potato chip, by all means. But really, we want you to focus on eating real whole foods and not those processed substitutes that you can kind of find in the store these days. So the extra notes, I will say, we get this a lot, but grass-fed beef, if you can get organic grass-fed beef sourced really well, then that will be okay. The only caveat is if you think you may be sensitive to it and or you have a history of a tick-borne illness, then we would recommend that you avoid it during the elimination period. But you should know. If you think you're sensitive to beef, you should know. So for most people, it will be okay for you to continue to have organic grass-fed beef if you can get a good source. Conventional beef, please do not consume during this time. And then we want you to consider limiting or eliminating high histamine foods if you have multiple symptoms of a histamine intolerance. So that would include headaches or migraines, flushing of your head and chest. If you're congested with a runny or itchy nose, you have red, itchy, or watery eyes, lots of sneezing, itchy skin or hives, digestive issues or IBS, irregular menstrual cycle, nausea or vomiting, or unexplained fatigue or anxiety. Now, if you have a couple of those, or you've got really bad allergies, you may want to consider avoiding some of those histamine foods, or at least just being cognizant when you eat them of how it makes you feel. And then if you have a diagnosed autoimmune issue, we would consider having you follow the autoimmune protocol. So what that means is, in addition to the elimination foods that are listed, you would also be eliminating all legumes, nuts and seeds, nightshades, and all grains. So when you look at your food plan, you would just cross out those categories and not eat them during the first 30 days. And then you would reintroduce those along with the other eliminated foods during your reintroduction section. So that's everything. If you have questions, one, I would refer you to the comprehensive guide. That document has tons of great information in there, and gives you the research and the reasons why we've done this diet the way that we do. And then from there, if you're still not figuring it out, feel free to email us at totalgutjob@amybeardmd.com, or shoot us a question on the Facebook group. We'd be happy to help you figure it out. And good luck, everyone.